So with the fundamental punches, we've covered the linear strikes, working with the jab and the cross, and the hooks. And now we're just going to look at one of the kind of other basic or kind of fundamental angles, which is the upper. Now, again, there's different angles of the body that we're going to use for an uppercut, dependent on the angle that we're going to be striking. If I was striking up to the head, it's going to be slightly different position as if I'm striking with this like shovel uppercut into the body. We're just going to keep it simple. And the key things that we're going to be looking at, again, looking at those principles of joint alignment. So one thing I've got to be mindful of, none of these things are strikes mean that the strikes won't work. But what we're trying to do is just to keep them as efficient as possible. So keeping the angle of the knuckle supported by the elbow, which is going to give us as much penetration as we possibly can. And again, with this strike, you know, especially when we're working without hand wraps and gloves, we really want to be mindful of the uppercut when we're training, because, you know, over time we can get injuries with the wrist by putting a lot of stress and pressure on the wrist, especially when we've got kind of poor alignment between the knuckles, the wrist and the elbow. Alright, so we're going to use the uppercut in exactly the same way, exactly the same alignment that we did all the other punches. We're just changing the angle that we're using it. So if we're starting off with kind of mid-height here, so it's kind of, we could be working on the body, we could be working on the head. The uppercut's not, it can be a long range strike, but what we're looking at just initially is if it's relatively short. Okay? So from this position here, with the uppercut, we're driving up through the legs, and we want to drive in a linear fashion up through the pad. So I'm not looking back to myself on this occasion. So from here, just bring down touch chance here, driving up through the legs and the hips, and out through the two knuckles. Here. Now, we can change the distance of the upper, but what we're going to do, rather than hitting like this, we're going to keep the angle with the knuckles and the elbow, and we're just going to change the angle slightly if we're working like a long range up under the chin shot, if we weren't so close. So from this position, hitting up here. So it's getting into the realms of being a hook, but that's an important. The most important bit is the position of the elbow and the wrist. So from here, again, that's just a shot that we can use. It's just going to give us a little bit more range. And we can do exactly the same off the lead. We're just driving this time through that front foot and trying to keep, really importantly, keep that position of the wrist as we're driving up. Alright, so that's the basic uppercut.